What's going on, guys? Matt here, service industry coach. Today I'm talking about personal finance and how you can be more financially secure by following these certain steps. Do me a favor, if you have not followed or subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, please do. I try to post videos as often as possible to help business owners like you grow on a business level and a personal level. All right, guys, so this is a topic that I really wanted to share, and I'm gonna share a lot more about in the future. But I get people asking me all the time, hey Matt, how much should I be paying myself? I have a new business, or even if you have a business that's been around for a handful of years, right? Like, how do I know how much I should be paying myself? And then also, how can I be more financially secure on a personal level? So today what I'm talking about is personal money. I'm not talking about business money. I'm talking about personal money in your personal life, okay? So step one, and all these I have done, okay? And they worked for me. So step one, an emergency fund. Why is an emergency fund important? Well, because crazy things happen in life. And I suggest having a 6-month emergency fund. So how do you find that? Simple. You get your bills for the entire month, okay? Any expense that you have to pay out, right? You take all that and you times it by 6, and there's your 6-month emergency fund. So God forbid you got in a car accident, you fell off a ladder, you got sick, you couldn't work for some reason. This 6-month emergency fund gives you enough time to either get back on your feet and back to work, or gives you enough time to stall where you can come up with a new plan, that way you can survive. Now, I see people all the time, they don't have an emergency fund, okay? And then something bad happens and they lose their home, they lose their car, whatever the case is, their credit gets destroyed. And it's all because they were paying themselves and spending too much money, and they didn't take it serious that they needed to save. So a 6-month emergency fund has to happen, period. That's the first thing. Second thing, debt elimination. You have to begin eliminating all of your debt. Now, everything needs to be eliminated as fast as possible, except your mortgage. I'm not super concerned right now about your mortgage. That'll be for a different video, okay? But I always suggest doing it from small to big. Now, you hear Dave Ramsey talk about this a lot. Start with the smallest debt and eliminate it fast as possible, and work your way up to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. It's a mental thing where when you can eliminate debt, smallest to biggest, it almost feels like you're chewing through it faster. And also, let's say you have a $500 credit card. If you can eliminate that right away, you can avoid any type of interest, right? And so we want to get rid of the smallest debts possible first, and then move on to the bigger ones, okay? Debt is by far probably this is the most important thing I'm going to say all day. Stay away from debt. Please, please, please. My entire life, I have avoided debt at all costs, okay? Because it's a freedom killer. And I've seen it take out families, right? I've seen people lose everything because they financed everything they owned. You know, they got boats, they had cars, they all drove brand new cars, and they were financed. And then the father lost his job, or the mom lost his job, or one of them got sick, and guess what? It all went away because the cars weren't worth what they owed, right? The boat wasn't worth what they owed on it. And everything got repoed, their house got taken, and their life was in shambles, all because of debt. Debt is a killer, so listen to me. Quit going into debt for things that you want, okay? Stop. It is not worth it. Next, I want you to start thinking about liabilities versus assets. Now, what does that mean? A liability, it's very simple. Liability is something that takes money out of your pocket, okay? An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. So next time you're buying something, I want you to ask yourself, is this a liability or is this an asset? Especially on big purchases, right? Man, do I need this $30,000 car? Would I be okay with a $15,000 car that I could pay cash for, right? Or a $10,000 car, or a $5,000 car that I could pay cash for? I don't want you guys to be having a life full of liabilities. I want you to have a life full of assets. So whenever you're buying something, ask yourself, is this a liability? Is it taking money out of my pocket, or is it an asset where it's putting money into my pocket? The age-old quote, spend less money than you make, okay? You have to lay out a budget. Budget your bills. You should be able to have your bills on your refrigerator, know exactly what you have to pay every single month, okay? And that will allow you to know how much you need to pay yourself, right? And then that's also gonna allow you to know how much you're able to spend, because if you spend less money than you make, okay, you'll be fine. The problem is hardly anybody does it nowadays because everybody finances everything. They have credit cards and whatever. And although no, not all that money's coming out of your pocket, you know, that $25,000 car that you just financed, you didn't just take 25 grand out of your pocket, but guess what? Now you give a $25,000 note over your head. And so you're spending more money than you're making, right? I don't want you guys to do that. If you spend less money than you make, you'll be financially safe. So just to recap, set an emergency fund for 6 months. Eliminate your debt, smallest to biggest. You have to kill it, right? Debt is a killer. You have to eliminate your debt. Don't take on liabilities. You want assets, not liabilities. Spend less money than you make and lay out a budget with your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, mom, dad, whoever it is. Put it on the refrigerator so you guys stare at it every single day. Be on board with whoever you live with on your budget, and do not sway away from your budget. Don't. Period. Nothing else is more important. Let me tell you this. Some people would say, Matt, this is kind of a broke way to think, like you're just surviving. I totally disagree. And I know this because it's now coming into my life, showing that what I did 5 years ago, starting living like this, is now paying off, okay? When you live like this early on in your business, okay, the first 5 years or so, and by the way, debt never becomes a good thing, okay? Liabilities never become a good thing. But if you live in a way like this where you're spending less money than you make, you're living smart, you're not taking on debt, it sets you up in the future where now you can buy a boat in cash. You don't have to finance it, right? Now you don't need credit cards to fill up your gas tank. Now you can actually have a chance at paying your house off fairly quickly, okay? All this right here will set you up for that in the long run. So anyone that says that personal debt is good, it's a bunch of crap. They don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to sell you on something. Personal debt is horrible. You've got to get out of it. So these are my steps to financial security for your personal life. I really recommend sitting down, laying all your bills out, set a budget, and look back and say, man, how can we change our life on a personal level so we're more personally, financially secure?